Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So once again, Dani Leigh is back in the headlines, but once again, it's because that accident, well, that wasn't really no accident, but call it what you want to, her hitting somebody on a moped, if you will, and dragging them under her car for X amount of yards while she was driving under the influence. Now, allegedly, she only got 5 years of probation, if I'm not mistaken, which was absolutely absurd. And there's a plethora of people running around on the internet basically trying to defend her actions. People literally fighting other people off with a stick in the comments of different YouTube videos that YouTubers have made, calling her out for her horrendous behavior that quite literally could have deleted somebody, all because they worship the ground she walks on, because she has light skin and loosely curly hair, because she's pretty, because she's Dani Leigh, because she's a singer, because they have this idol worship thing going on where these celebrities are concerned. They have a parasocial relationship. They are sick in the head. I mean, it is really disturbing and really sickening to see the lengths that some of these people are going to defend this girl in her actions. I mean, people talking about, oh, y'all are just jealous. Y'all want what she has. Y'all wish y'all were her. Y'all just want to keep her down. No, she has herself down. She sunk to the bottom feeding level with the stupid actions that she decided to do. That's all on her. Nobody is jealous of this girl. Once again, from the moment she came out with the Yellow Bone song, everybody took her as a joke. But anyways, what people didn't know, what I didn't know at the time, was that allegedly the person that she hit was a 17-year-old child. Once again, lacerated kidney and a fractured spine was the result after she hit this child while driving under the influence. The video of her getting arrested came out not too long ago. And once again, all these people saying, oh, she just made a mistake, trying to put words in her mouth and make her feel ways that she did not feel, trying to make it seem like she was so remorseful, which we all knew she wasn't. Again, the people who were paying attention and using the common sense that God gave us. Whenever she made that video talking about she don't understand why people don't like her, not 1 ounce of remorse was used. Not 1 ounce of self-accountability was displayed. She never once said, you know what, I regret my actions. I should have never did what I did. I'm going to hold myself accountable for what I did. Never once saw any of that. But people wanted to make it seem like she was oh so sorry. She just made a mistake. No, sir, no, ma'am. You getting in your car and hitting somebody under the influence is not a mistake. People were even saying, oh, everybody has done something at least. No, we haven't all hit people while under the influence, like I said again. But anyways, the video came out. That young woman was completely drunk, allegedly. Talking about some, you can't arrest me, I'm a singer. That's literally what came out of her mouth. And I quote, I'm an R&B singer. You can't arrest me, end quote. The audacity, the privilege, it's giving Justin Timberlake all over again. Because remember when he said he just had one martini, was allegedly stopped by one cop who knew who he was, and allegedly let him go, then was stopped by another cop who didn't know who he was, and then that's when consequences sort of kind of happened. Because there was only so much that second cop could do because he's Justin Timberlake. Even in the mugshot, he definitely did not look like he just had one martini, but got mad because the man pulled him over. Meanwhile, he could have hit somebody's daughter or son or mother or father. And that could have been it for that person, but not for him. But he wants to be upset that they pulled him over because he's a celebrity. I've said before, these people do not find identification in normal people. Meanwhile, all these normal people who are their fans and supporters, they are finding identification in them. These celebrities care only about themselves and their money. The moment things don't go the way they want them to, they will try to buy their way out or use their fame to get out. They don't care about, oh, well, it's not fair that I don't get to face the consequences that everybody else does because I'm rich and famous. They're going to do what they have to do because they're used to that privilege. That is who they are. That's what they've always been. People are going to be shocked one of these days to find out their favorite celebrities really don't care like that. They really don't care about people like that and how they really view the average Janes and Joes of the world. Their real mindsets on how they feel like they should be able to get away with whatever because of who they are. And that's exactly what she did. The video proved it. The proof is in the pudding. She was up there talking about some, oh, I didn't hit anybody, while they were handcuffing her hands behind her back. And they were telling her, ma'am, we have you on camera. We literally saw you. And then they even showed the footage being played from the little TV. It was a little hard to see because that was a small TV, y'all. They were showing it where she hit this child and kept going, but had the audacity to say, I didn't hit anybody. And then when she was sitting on the curb like a stooge, then she wanted to say, well, you know, if I would have hit somebody, they'd be deleted. Who says something like that? Clearly somebody who has no remorse, no accountability, is very privileged minded. It's almost like she really defaulted to the Karen type mindset. No offense to people named Karen out there. Although she really defaulted to that mindset. Like, again, because she was a celebrity, because of the obvious physical aesthetics, if you will, that she was above the law, that she was above reproach. And I just can't wrap my head around just the audacity, like I said, of her saying she didn't hit anybody. Then if she did, they'd be to glory, basically, by now. And her basically like scoffing and laughing at this like it's a joke. She didn't take this seriously at all. Lied about how she passed all the tests when they basically said that she failed them with flying colors. Talking about the, sobriety test. It was just disgusting watching the entire thing. That's why I didn't even include it on here. It was disgusting. And it was sad to see how she so easily just mowed that child down on that moped. I mean, really. It's almost like she had no intentions of stopping, to be completely honest with y'all. Just from her attitude alone, like I said, taking it like it's a joke, trying to lie, being that drunk behind the car, because they said that she was way over the legal limit. Her trying to use her privilege, saying, oh, you can't arrest me because I'm an R&B singer. It was really given, you can't arrest me like you do those other people. That's what it was really given. And because of that mindset alone, because of that attitude alone, they should have gave her 5 years in prison instead of 5 years of probation. You don't just let people like that walk because they will do it again. Clearly they did not. She does not value human life. Maybe her own, but she doesn't value the human life of others. And I even dare say people who don't look like her aren't the same color as her. You don't let people like that walk away without facing severe consequences. Because those severe consequences might be the only thing that can make them do right. Notice I didn't say make them change, because they would have to want to change after seeing how horrible they've been to begin with. That's just not going to happen with some of these people. We've got to go ahead and grasp that and understand it. Some of these people like Dani Leigh, they know, I'm sure, that they're a horrible person, that the way that they act is not right. Some of them don't know. But regardless of that, some of them will never do better. Some of them will never see the truth. Some of them will never realize this is horrible. I should be a better person and not risk other people's lives and safety. And they will continue to do what they have been. But if they face consequences, they might think twice before they do something crazy again. Not because they feel like they have to or it's the right thing to do. They should do the right thing because it's the right thing, but they'll think twice about doing something crazy because, you know what, the last time I did that, I actually had to face consequences. I ain't trying to do that again. And it's sad that they just can't do the right thing because it's right, like I said. But if the consequences will make them do right, then consequences, so be it. Now, you know the people on Twitter, aka X, had some things to say, and we're here for what they had to say. One person posted on Twitter, and I quote, a singer, a celebrity. I'm not about to say that word. A kid suffered lacerated kidney and spinal fracture because of your actions and you laughing? What is wrong with this heifer? End quote. And I agree, minus the bad language. What is wrong with her indeed? Because anybody who laughs after causing someone that and then makes a video later like, I don't understand why people don't like me. Still, it's about her. Never about what she did and consequences. Something is truly wrong with her. She is disturbed, y'all. Another person posted, and I quote, I'm an artist. I'm a singer. You can't arrest me. She deserves 10 years just for the ego. End quote. And I agree. Once again, something is seriously wrong with this young woman. Another Twitter user posted, and I quote, why do celebrities tell the cops that they are a celebrity when they are getting arrested? Like it's a get out of jail free card or something. Laughing face emoji with tears ×3. Man, they locked Martha Stewart up. Your behind ain't no exception, end quote. And we all know what he was trying to say, despite the double negative there. She's no exception, is what he's trying to say, but they're trying to make her one because she's a celebrity. She's trying to make her one because she's a celebrity. Once again, somebody else on Twitter reminded everybody what she said, again, when they kept trying to tell her that she had hit somebody. Allegedly, she said, and I quote, "If I would have hit somebody, I know somebody would be deleted." End quote. It's giving she knows she's reckless. She knows what she's capable of, which is really, once again, sick-minded. And a lot of people said that same thing on Twitter, that she is sick in the head. They don't understand how she could be that evil, and that the fact that she finds causing people that kind of harm funny, and that she has no remorse, is very disturbed. Once again, some people have a very skewed sense of empathy, a lot of these celebrities basically, because they are used to not facing consequences. They're used to not having to have remorse for their actions. They're used to not feeling or embracing that conviction that is trying to lead them to do better by not hurting people. It's really sad. Now, once again, we're not about to justify anybody's horrendous intentional actions, including DaniLeigh's, although we've got to address these people who are coming out and basically saying that the young man crossed while there was a green light on the moped, and basically, I guess, are trying to use that as an excuse for why it shouldn't be that big of a deal that she hit him. Yes, I understand that these young kids and even whoever's on these motor vehicles, whether it's just a regular bike, it's a motorcycle, moped, whatever it is, scooter, skateboard, they need to be careful, they need to be mindful. Don't just shoot out into the street without looking both ways. This is what they taught us growing up. I remember being a little girl and them saying, "Okay, children, whenever you get ready to cross the street, what do? We look both ways. We look right and then we look left." Now they tell you in driving, right, left, and then right again, or it might be the opposite. Left, right, and then left again, depending on whether or not you're on a street or you're about to turn on a street where there's traffic coming one way or maybe not the other way. It just depends. But you're always supposed to look both ways. Be mindful. Don't be so busy trying to just go around or ride around that you're not paying attention to what's going on. And you also have to look out for other people. And by look out, I mean you've got to be mindful of other drivers, motor vehicles who are being operated by people who are not paying attention. You got to be paying attention because somebody could be driving under the influence, just not paying attention, having their head in their phones. For the life of me, I can't understand why anybody would text and drive or be on their phone to any extent of time while driving behind the wheel. I get it if you're like checking a quick text message, but that's even really unsafe. You shouldn't be on your phone while you're driving, point blank, period. That's how people get deleted on the road. But you've got to be paying attention to what you're doing, paying attention to what's going on around you, looking out for other people because some of these people, they're not there. They're not sober-minded, so to speak, behind the wheel. And if you're not paying attention, you could get hit. Some people get real mad. They get real beside themselves, even with murderous intent, so to speak. When they're behind the wheel, they feel very empowered. "Oh, if you cross in front of me, I'm going to hit you." That's their mentality. They don't care that pedestrians have the right of way. If you step into that street and the light is green, or if you wait even the slightest amount of time and you're supposed to be out of my way, they have that kind of mentality where they will mow people down with their car. And we all know they wouldn't want that to happen to them if they were the pedestrian. But again, people get beside themselves. They become empowered, very one-sided, very lacking in empathy because they are behind the wheel. They know that they're in a car, they're protected, they're in safety. Meanwhile, the pedestrian is vulnerable. It's something about somebody else being vulnerable while the other person isn't that, again, empowers people to make very bad decisions. And it is very disturbing, but a lot of people do it. I don't know if people notice this on the road, but a lot of people do it. And there are people out there who will run over people, who will run over pedestrians, bicycle riders, scooter riders, if you will, people on a moped. They do not care. That's still wrong. Even if they're, acting crazy, running out into the street, you have a car. For you to run them over and then say, "Oh, well, they flipped me the bird," or they, cut in front of me, or they went out into the street while there was a green light, that is not an excuse to run them over with your car. Like, I don't know where people got that mentality from, but it needs to go back to the trash. Where they got it from, because that's where it came from, the trash. I know where it came from. It came from the trash. But it is not okay to run somebody over or hit them with your car just because they stepped in front of your car. Now, I can understand if you were already so far out there and they got in front of you and there was no possible way you could avoid hitting them, you done did everything you could. But to still run somebody over just because, again, well, they shouldn't have stepped in front of my car. Well, they rolled out there on a green light. That is wrong. Once again, you're sick in the head if you think that way. That is very disturbing. But the fact is, there are a lot of mentally disturbed people with access to a registered license, and they got cars that they're driving around. But anyways, I understand he should not have rolled out there during the green light. I get that. But once again, that was no excuse for her to hit him with her car. And she might have had a little bit stronger of a case if she wasn't under the influence. Now, somebody else pointed out in these Twitter comments that you don't have to be under the influence. Literally, it takes like a second for you to be distracted. Again, looking at your phone, paying attention to something else you should not be while you're behind the wheel of a car. Bam, you didn't hit somebody who you probably wouldn't have hit if you had been paying attention. Which is why I am of the mindset when I am a pedestrian, when I am crossing the street, whenever I do it, and I also let other people know. I know that pedestrians have the right of way, but don't take the right of way. Because you can say, oh, well, I'm supposed to be walking here. Even if the light is red, I'm supposed to be walking here. And that person in the car decides they want to blow past that red light. You're not about to stop them. And if they, once again, mow you down, guess what? Now you're deleted, standing in front of God, trying to explain to him with what common sense you used. Why did you do that when you could have just stayed on the side of the road? It's messed up, but you can't control what other people do if they decide to break the law. But it's not as important as being my behind still in safety so that nothing will happen to me. Like I said, it's not fair, but are you really gonna go back and forth over it like your safety's not in jeopardy if you make the wrong decision? That's what some people gotta understand. You've got to swallow your ego, break your pride. Sometimes you gotta take the L. It's unfortunate, but it will help you become a stronger, more mature person. I can tell you that much. Like I said, we're not saying, oh, they should just break the law, do whatever they want to. But somebody's got to be the mature individual in the scenario. Not enough people willing to step up to that plate. Like I said, people need to understand, pay attention, especially if you are in a vulnerable position as a pedestrian or you're on a bike, whatever. And if somebody wants to do whatever they want to do in a car, you're not about to be able to stop them. Don't fight them over it because your safety is the one that's in jeopardy. Don't act like they owe you something. Don't just take the right of way and say, oh, I'm going to walk out into this street and they're going to stop for me. Because they might actually be distracted. They might not actually see you. That don't apply to Dani Leigh because, again, she was under the influence. But what if they just don't see you? Then what? So that's why, again, we've got to be careful and we've got to swallow our pride, again, and our ego and do what's mature. Now, once again, a lot of people were saying that it was just wild how she handled this situation. The lack of remorse, the lack of accountability. People were saying we really hope that they sent her to prison so she could get straightened out, so she can fix her behavior. I doubt that's going to happen. But it brings me back to how I've been talking about that this young girl, this young lady, and I'm trying to refrain from calling her a girl because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to excuse her by making her seem younger than what she is, because that's not what I'm trying to say. This young, whatever you want to call her. I don't want to call her a lady because she doesn't act like a lady. She acts ratchet. This young woman, she's been used to a lack of accountability. From the moment she came out with that Yellow Bone song, all the people who, once again, were using common sense and seeing this for what it was, were trying to say that she knew what she was doing, or she was just plain straight up stupid, because you can't make me believe that one she didn't know, coming from a culture that's actually quite colorist, allegedly, or if she didn't, so she was too stupid to go and ask somebody what the word meant before she used it in a song. So whatever backlash that she got, whichever one it was, she deserved it. Either way it goes. People didn't want to hold her accountable. They wanted to babyfy, or maybe she didn't know. Every step of the way, nobody held her accountable for what she did. Every time she did something, they then started blaming the baby. Now, I didn't think it was right for him to kick her out of the house in the middle of the night while she was breastfeeding their child. But when a man has shown you he doesn't want you, but you just want to keep making him want you so you can rub it in other women's faces who really aren't that concerned about it, then this is what you have to go through. Like I said, they always try to blame him for what she did. No, sir, no, ma'am. He's got his own problems. He does his own stuff. He ain't got nothing to do with this. He ain't got nothing to do with the decisions that she made that were really awful. She did this to herself. Again, because people refused to hold her accountable, people held her hand, like I said, all the way through. Now she feels entitled to not having to take accountability. They've excused everything up to this point, and I've said this before, whenever you don't hold people accountable, whenever you justify everything that they do, once again, it empowers them the way they've been going. So eventually, they're going to start with little things. You excuse that, you look the other way, they realize, oh, people are not going to hold me accountable like they do other people. Then they start doing worse. Then it gets to them running over people with their car while they're under the influence. Which again, if people paid attention to the patterns and what people do, they would not be surprised when these things happen. Like, it really befuddled me when people were so shooketh that she actually did this. How? How so? Please explain. Because she's shown everybody that she's really not a good person. Not this good person that people have been making her out to be. And by people, I mean the people who were supporting her, her fans, the people who refuse to see her for the person that she is. Anyways, she's made her bed. Now she has to lay in it. It's just unfortunate that a child was hurt so horribly and that she's really still not facing the consequences that she needs to. Hopefully she will in the future, but I won't hold my breath, so to speak. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.